Hey guys, wanted to send you a quick video just to kind of give you a breakdown of what I've been seeing on a daily basis with a lot of the buy it now type of companies and programs that are out there. You may have heard of them, obviously, things like Opendoor, OfferPad. Zillow is actually even now providing a buy it now program. Just wanted to give you a comparison to what I've been seeing from how they purchase these homes versus what you can actually receive on the open market. Now that company or these companies, they strive on a rising market, basically a seller's market out there. And the reason for that is because a lot of these buyers, whenever they move, they may have purchased their home a few years ago. The actual average person purchases a home and moves every 4 years in the US. So if you purchased your home, it's 2018 right now, looking at 2014 as the industry average, you probably have anywhere from $60,000 to $70,000 in equity in your property. So what these Opendoor companies come in and they're able to do is essentially buy your home immediately without you having to do anything, which is always really nice, good convenience factor to that, and then say, hey, if you move out, you get to pick out your move out date, whether that's 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now, and then we're gonna pay you $40,000 to $50,000 in cash, which sounds awesome. I mean, if I don't have to do anything and obviously get a check that size, that's absolutely a huge benefit or perk. The problem is your home is, at least for me, is the biggest asset that you own. You want to make sure that you're not leaving anything on the table. Now don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people, life happens, where you need that money almost immediately and absolutely makes sense and it works for people. However, in this open market, with it being a seller's market, a lot of our listings, they've been selling in that first weekend. I mean, you're talking 1 to 2 showings and then they're receiving these full price offers. Most of the properties, actually just about every one of them, if you're priced correctly with the marketing that I'm going to tell you to do, and this again is with you not spending any money. It's literally just cleaning the house, organizing in a certain way, and then we provide the photos and the pictures for it. You won't be on the market more than 30 days, which is huge, especially when you're talking about the difference in money that you could be making on the open market. So real quick, just to give you some exact scenarios of what I've seen, because I can tell you this all day, but let's see some factual information here. We actually had a friend of ours that he lived in Peoria, purchased the home through us about I think it was 2015 whenever they actually purchased the home. He went into a scenario where it did make sense for him. He actually never talked to us as far as getting the listing appointment, but essentially he needed money, needed to be able to move out of the state and move right away. Opendoor actually purchased his home for $278,500, which he purchased it for $200,000 through us a few years ago. That's amazing. Obviously a $78,000 increase in value. Problem is, once you get into that step, first and foremost, Opendoor, they're upfront with you about it. They charge a 6.5% fee that comes off the top there. Just to give you an idea, whenever you sell in the open market, it's a 6% fee. You have 3% that goes to the buyer's broker, 3% that goes to the listing broker. If we end up finding you a buyer directly, a lot of times we want to make sure both sides save money on that, so you're able to discount it down to 5%. So you're a whole 1.5% less than what Opendoor is going to charge you. That's step one. Step two is they come in and they do a tour of your actual property. They decide what needs to be done for them to be able to sell it. They say, I need to paint the home, need to replace the carpets, might need to do some landscaping. They give you a full detailed report and they tell you, hey, this amount of estimates would cost $5,000 to be able to do these repairs. You can either do them before we close and we won't charge you anything for it, or we can take $5,000 off our offer price and then therefore be able to take care of that ourselves. A lot of people, they're going to go with Opendoor. They either don't have the cash to be able to do that. Certainly most people, myself included, don't have $5,000 just to spend right away on a property. But then also as well too, they know that you need to be out quick. People aren't going to want to do those repairs. They're able to take that $5,000 off. So without even completely ignoring that step, essentially, you have $278,500 that they purchased this home. Pulling comps on this property, that property does not need to be a cent below $299,900. With these comps, I'm seeing within a week that property would be sold at $300,000. Talking about a $22,000 difference. There's actually a comp that's currently pending at $310,000 that was on the market for 10 days. So it's $30,000 potential difference that you have here. Now again, what they're seeing as they purchased it for $278,000 minus 6%, so right around It's probably about, what is that, about $255,000, $260,000 that they received. They purchased it for $200,000 a few years ago. So they're receiving a check for a good $80,000. Opendoor can also see that. They know how much you purchased your home for, they know how much money you put down, so they know exactly right around that number of what the check is or what the enticing number they're going to be giving to you at close to get you to make this move. So again, that $70,000 that they made very well could have been $100,000 to $110,000. If they listed at $300,000, we would be sold within a weekend. So literally you have 1 or 2 showings, you clean the house, and you're paying yourself an additional $30,000. It's unbelievable. You can still close just as fast. A lot of times we have people, especially if a buyer comes in with cash, they're looking to close in 10 days. Most of the time people are looking to close within 30. Then you also have one of my listings, actually. So it was in Goodyear, Estrella Mountain Ranch. We pulled the comps. Estrella Mountain Ranch tends to take a little bit longer to sell, mainly because of the fact that it's a little farther out. You have a little less clientele that wants to be out there. But essentially we listed at $275,000, okay? We felt like that was a decent number. We start off at the very top of the comps and go down if we have to from there. Our seller was curious at the very beginning of our listing. Zillow was providing a buy it now program. He went over to Zillow, asked them what they felt like they could sell it for, and it was $255,000, which really is actually pretty close, especially for a buy it now program compared to the $275,000 that I started with. The problem is once you start diving into it a little bit more, they also charge an 8.5% fee. So you have 8.5% from that $255,000 immediately brings it down to $230,000. Then that's before your closing costs. You still have to pay taxes, you still have to pay insurance, title policies. All of these different things obviously add up. And again, that's before step 2 of whenever they actually tour or walk through your home and tell you what needs to be done. Decided not to go with that route. Obviously a $233,000, I think is what it calculated out to be, offer was too low. Literally a week later, we received a offer for $270,000 and we're closing on December 20th. So before Christmas, that is a $47,000 difference to just sell in the open market. We had a total of 3 showings. The third person absolutely loved the property and definitely jumped on it. That's a prime example of why you want to just look at both options. Now lastly, what I also did is I actually put in a request from Opendoor for my property. I wanted to see kind of what they thought my property was worth, okay? I bought it for $325,000 in 2016 before we did anything obviously to it, put some money down. So I owe right around about $275,000 at this point. Again, they can see that detail. That's public information that they're able to pull. They pulled the comps and sent me over an offer. I actually had an appraisal done prior to this Opendoor offer and it came back at $425,000. That was actually to provide a home equity line of credit that I was looking for on our property. So I knew right around $425,000 is where it should appraise at. I would actually list it at $450,000 just because of the current market. The marketing that we do obviously for these properties, I feel like we get top dollar and be able to sell it for $450,000. Opendoor came back with an offer of $353,000. That is almost exactly $80,000 that I would be walking away with on the property, and they know that. They know that detail and they're able to pull that up. So again, me wanting to move, I don't have to do anything with the home. Hey, $75,000 to $80,000 check, that's incredible. I'll absolutely take that. The problem is that you don't realize whenever you look at the numbers, you could have walked away with potentially almost $100,000 more. You're talking about a $170,000 check that I would be receiving if I just cleaned the house, detailed it, and obviously had a few open houses, maybe even a few showings. That's the difference that you're talking about. Now, Opendoor does make the process easy, which is nice. You know, a lot of people that have done it in the past, they'll give you information about, hey, it was great. They came in, they gave me the check that they said they would give me. I was able to move out whenever I wanted to. I didn't have to do anything, which sometimes it absolutely works. All that I recommend, it doesn't even have to be me, but talk to another realtor, talk to someone and get that second opinion so they can break down the exact numbers. That way you have on the left side everything from Opendoor. You have your exact check and exactly what you're going to be receiving, and on the right side you have the exact numbers from a realtor what you can receive on an open market. That way you can make an informative decision of which path basically to take and what makes the most sense for you and your family when selling the biggest asset that you own. Hope you guys have a great week and a very Merry Christmas coming up and a Happy New Year.